The echo of boots on concrete cut through the humid air of Fort Wallace. Rows of recruits stood at attention, eyes fixed forward, sweat trickling down their faces as the blazing afternoon sun scorched the yard. Among them stood Private Alara Quinn, the newest, quietest recruit in Alpha Platoon, known more for her silence than her strength. Colonel Marcus Dane paced in front of them, his shadow long and sharp. A man with a jaw carved from stone and a reputation for breaking spirits, Dane believed in fear over respect. Discipline, he barked, isn't given. It's beaten into you. His voice rolled across the ranks like thunder. When he stopped before Alara, the entire platoon seemed to hold its breath. She was smaller than the others, her uniform still crisp, her face unreadable. Dane sneered, "You think you can hide behind that calm face, soldier?" "No, sir," she replied evenly, her tone controlled but steady. He stepped closer, the air thick with tension. "What are you, Quinn? A robot? You think you're better than my soldiers?" "No, sir." Something about her composure infuriated him. With a sudden shove, he sent her backward. "Get up," he ordered when she hit the dirt. She did, quietly, efficiently. Not a word, not even a glare. The silence was gasoline, and Dane lit the match. He grabbed her by the collar, dragging her into the barracks while the recruits watched in stunned silence. Inside, he threw open the door to the latrine. "You need humility, Private," he growled. Before she could respond, he forced her down, plunging her head into the toilet. The cold water bit her skin, filling her ears with a cruel rush. When he pulled her up, she gasped for air but didn't cry, didn't shout. Water streamed down her face as she met his eyes, calm, level, and terrifyingly focused. For a moment, Dane froze. That look, not fear, not hatred, but something sharper, made the back of his neck prickle. She straightened, wiped her face with the back of her hand, and said quietly, "Permission to speak, sir." He scoffed, denied, but she spoke anyway. "You just made your biggest mistake." Her voice was low but steady, her gaze locked on him. "You wanted to teach me respect, sir," she said. "Now I'll teach you something you don't understand, restraint." Then she walked past him, dripping, leaving muddy footprints on the tile floor. The barracks fell silent as she emerged, soaked but unbroken. Every recruit stared as she crossed the field toward the firing range. By sunset, whispers rippled through the base. No one had ever defied Dane and stayed standing. No one had looked him in the eye after that kind of humiliation. But that night, when gunfire echoed from the range, crisp, perfect, and unrelenting, the recruits realized something: the quiet private wasn't breaking. She was sharpening. By dawn, Fort Wallace was alive with rumor. Every recruit in Alpha Platoon had heard the story, how Colonel Dane dunked Private Quinn's head in a toilet, and how she'd walked out without a word, like steel forged in humiliation. Most thought she'd quit by sunrise. But when the reveille horn screamed across the base, Alara was already awake, kneeling on the range, cleaning her M24 with slow, deliberate care. Her uniform was spotless, her hair tight under her cap. Only her eyes had changed, no longer the calm gray of quiet obedience, but cold silver, sharp as a scope's reflection. Sergeant Holt approached her cautiously. He'd seen soldiers snap under Dane before, crying, breaking, begging for discharge. But Alara, she was too calm, too focused. "You're on thin ice, Quinn," he warned. "The colonel's not done with you." She clicked the bolt into place. "Neither am I done with him, sir." By noon, the platoon was gathered for live fire. Drills, Dane's favorite stage for humiliation. He strutted along the firing line, barking orders, his voice slicing through the air. "You'll fire until your arms give out. If you miss, you run." When he reached Alara, he smirked. "Let's see if the toilet water washed the weakness off you." Alara said nothing. She lay prone, adjusting her scope, her movements smooth and surgical. At 800 meters, a metal silhouette stood, a distant target few recruits ever hit clean. "Fire," Dane ordered. She exhaled slowly. One shot. The steel plate rang clear. "Bullseye." He frowned. Again. She fired. Another perfect hit. Then another. Then another. Each round hit dead center, rhythm precise as a metronome. The range fell silent. Even the wind seemed to pause. Dane's jaw tightened. "You think you're showing off?" She rose slowly, locking eyes with him. "Just proving I don't miss, sir." Something in her tone, a quiet warning, drew everyone's attention. She stepped closer, lowering her weapon but never her gaze. "You humiliated me in front of my unit," she said, her voice low but clear. You taught me what kind of leader you are. Now I'm teaching everyone what kind of soldier I am. Watch your mouth, Private." Before he could finish, she reached for her rifle case and pulled out a sealed envelope. "I've already filed a report with command," she said. "The footage from the barracks camera is attached. You forgot there's one right above the latrine door." The color drained from his face. Around them, whispers broke out like wildfire. Alara shouldered her rifle, looked him squarely in the eye, and said, "You told me discipline is beaten in. I think accountability works better." She turned and walked off the line. No salute, no hesitation. By sunset, word spread across the base. Colonel Dane had been suspended pending investigation. And Private Alara Quinn, the quiet recruit who never raised her voice, had just shaken Fort Wallace to its core.